Okay, and now everybody's hopping on. Welcome, everybody. This is Sunday night, every time, November 16th. And as the Team Victory All-Star Call, so thank you guys for showing up on a Sunday night. Hopefully we get a bunch of you because I want a screenshot to make up for the screenshot that didn't happen last week. So I hope we can double the numbers. That would be great. We'll see what happens. As you all know, we have a special co-host. And the only reason I say co-host and not host is because my face is here. But he really is the host of this call. Because, and I'll give you the reason why. Last weekend, right after this team call, I looked in the team page and I saw his replies to everyone that day. And I was like, he needs to be on this call. I'm tired of listening to myself. So I asked Justin right at that moment, it literally was right after I got off this call, to be the co-host for this call. And he had to make arrangements to be here. So I appreciate the fact that he is here and he's going to share his, being real. He's got exactly what he wants to talk to you about. And if we have time at the end, I would love for a Q&A to happen. And then if we run out of time, then we can finish the call in the team page. I'm sure that he would be happy to answer any questions that you guys have for him that we missed when we hang up. Okay, so for those of you who don't know Justin, everybody on here knows Justin. I'm looking at the names. It's Justin Stanley from the other side of the border, which of course, like most of you guys are in here. Oh, not most. We're going to split this in half here. Are from. And Justin is actually one of Kelly Ryan's coaches. So if you want, you always kind of want to know who's attached to who, and Justin's one of Kelly's coaches, just like I am one of Kelly's coaches, but he is amazing. I was lucky enough to meet him at the summit and hang out and chat, and I was telling him, picture this call like for some of you who were, I'm looking at the list, who were in my hotel room hanging out, chatting. I said, just picture it like that. We're just hanging out in the hotel room chatting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Justin. I'm going to make him the spotlight video because we want to see his face, especially because this is recorded. And I know that he is going to deliver on what you guys need to hear because I know there's a reason he's here. All right, Justin, you are on, and I'm going to make your face right there smack dab in the center.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Anna, for inviting me. I love chiming into the pages sometimes and just helping keep it real, like you said. So thanks again. So yeah, if you don't really know, I know you know me, mostly everybody on the call, but if you don't know where I've kind of come from, I currently live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, kind of in the center of North America. Just recently got married to my husband, Sean, in August, and we've been together for about 10 years. Well, actually, we were 10 years that week we got married, and I have one dog and one cat. I was a customer since 2008 when I started P90, Power 90, the original beginning workout program. And so I've kind of been around for a long, long time. And then I started P90X and I was assigned to Kelly. So Kelly's been helping me for, I think, like 6 years before I became a coach. And then once P90X3 came around, I became a coach based on Kelly and Mike's recommendation, which is a key word, to become a coach. And right now I'm a Emerald coach. Kind of not hit diamond like I wanted to, but there's some reasons for that, which I'll kind of talk about. But kind of where I guess I'm strong is in the Challenge Pack Success Club sales. So I looked and I have 110 Success Club points so far this year. just going month to month and how kind of my points lined up. In January, I got 6, and the next month I got 10, and then 8, and then 9, and then 0. 0 was the month before Summit, May. And then in June, which is Summit month, Summit blew my mind. It was amazing. Hung out with Anna, learned tons from her in our hotel room. And with the Pile launch, I actually ended up with 24 Success Club points, which was my highest so far. And I actually got that I had 0 points up to the 19th that month. So I think Pile came out on the 19th, and then I ended up with 24 by the end of the month. And that was kind of all just leading up to the launch. I just kind of had a whole bunch of stuff leading up to launch, and then boom, hit. So I'll get into that later. And then after that month, I got 22, another big, strong month. Lots of it was Pile again. And then 7, 10, 14 last month. And then this month, I'm sitting at a big fat 0. But I'm not really kind of scared about how I'll end up. I'm sure I'll hit Success Club 5, probably 10. But yeah, as you can see, I have my ups and downs, just like lots of people in this business. But I don't give up, and I stick around, and continue on, and kind of change maybe my angle at things. But let's see here. This month is kind of stressing me out a bit, just because a 0 always stresses you out. But as of last week, I've been talking to Mike and Kelly, and kind of changing around my strategies and just focusing back on fundamentals and what really counts. I'm actually focusing on recruiting now, finally, which is one of my weaknesses. So that alone, I think, is gonna really help me this month. We'll see. But yeah, so being in a bit of a funk, you kind of doubt your abilities. You see everything isn't 100% aligning like you wanted. Getting kind of stuck in watching TV, mindless games or whatever, right? Just things that are easier and not really moving my business forward. But let's see here. Everybody does go through it, and I know people think everybody's perfect all the time, because that's kind of what everybody shares, but you don't really see when people are kind of in a funk, I find. So I think it's important to actually share with each other when we're in funks. Like Mike Klobes kind of posted last week, I guess it was, which I chimed in on, and kind of brought everybody back to kind of where what I know is true, and that the business fluctuates and people see dips all the time. Let's see here. The main thing is you need to kind of remember why you're doing this, because I always come back to the why, and just know that you're gonna have funks, and that you need to kind of nip it in the bud before it kind of explodes and lasts a month or 2 months or 3 months, because that's not going to get you to the goal that you wanted to get to in the end, which is a strong business, and or maybe whatever your why is, right? If you're focusing on rank advancing and just kind of I find if you're focusing on rank advancing and just adding discount coaches, you're kind of forcing your business, and it's not going to probably be a strong business up front. It can become that if those discount coaches become strong coaches. But for me, I'm not really about adding a whole bunch of discount coaches, because it takes a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time running this part-time like a lot of you guys. So I'm kind of going for quality, not quantity at the start, because I would rather not stress about going into diamond and out of diamond back and forth a lot. So it's just kind of one of my strategies. I know it's not maybe the best, but it's just what I'm doing. Because you really do want to attract and find people for your business that you want to work with, and that are like you and have the same kind of goals that you do, that are fun, who you kind of want to have in your home and invite over, whatever, friends, talk about it, see at Summit, have fun, and actually want to change people's lives, right? Because that's what we're all doing here. We don't want to just sign up people just for rank, because in the end, it doesn't really help you. I don't find it helps you. maybe it does. But from my perspective, it doesn't really help anything. Just sign people up who are just going to become discount coaches, and possibly just cancel in a month or two. You never know. Those guys can become great, because I actually did sign up as a discount coach. But I know Kelly saw potential in me, so it's not like she just signed me up just so that she would just get another discount coach, right? It took kind of like the fire in me to explode, and me wanting to help people for that to change really quickly in my mind. Let's see here. Like I said, one of my strengths is Success Club points. And like I also said, one of the weaknesses is building my team of coaches. So that's what I'm personally working on right now, is building my team of coaches, or at least becoming better at recruiting, and maybe getting rid of some of my own fears about inviting people into this business, which I've worked with Mike and Kelly on recently, and they've helped me personally develop some of my skills. I'm actually doing a what is Beachbody coaching type group with a couple of ladies on our team starting on Monday, and I've typically, when those have come around, I haven't invited because I just kept giving the excuse that the time wasn't right for me to invite people. But this time I just started inviting actually an hour before this call, and I already have 5 people committed to going in the group, and I haven't heard back from 2 of them, 2 more people, and I've heard back from 1 saying not right now. So that's a pretty big win for me, and something that I just went out of my comfort zone, and I got some yeses. And it makes you actually confident again in the business. So let's see here. Some things that I think are strengths that have helped with how Success Club, how I've hit Success Club recently is, I find that sharing with humor, people like humor. I know not everybody maybe has humorous side, but at least I find you have to make what you're saying interesting. You can't just share for the point of sharing. Sharing boring stuff or sharing uninteresting things isn't going to get people to want to actually follow you in this business or ask you for help or want to join you. So you have to kind of come at an angle that is at least interesting. Like if you don't find interesting what you're posting, then probably nobody else really is either. So that's kind of one of my takeaways. Also, you have to kind of think all the time, why would somebody want to have you help them? So if you always think of yourself in that perspective, you should always be sharing stuff that at least brings you, aligns with that goal. So what was I going to say about that? Okay, so
you're sharing interesting tips, and you want to align what you're saying
right
with what your intentions are.
Right. So I'm going to come back to that one because I kind of forgot my point on that, but yeah, I wrote it down and it was important. But yeah, it's about just making sure that what you're actually sharing and what you're actually doing is aligning to drive people to actually want to follow you. So the other thing is that, like, how do you actually come across on your social media? That's actually really important. If you were to take a look at your posts, do you sound generic, corporate, fake, not like yourself? Does it actually sound like it's you? Or do you find that you're sharing like how other coaches are sharing and just changing it up so it's kind of maybe not exactly copying, but that still doesn't sound like you? Or doesn't sound like you're kind of talking to friends, right? You always want to pretend like you're talking to a friend, because that's kind of what you're doing. You're kind of just recommending this all the time, recommending fitness, nutrition, sharing tips, that to me is kind of like what you're actually doing in this business all the time. So if you're not coming across that way, then you're probably being too salesy or too corporate sounding. And also, like, you will be told sometimes just to share things in a certain way while you're upline or whatever, but you do have to make it your own. So just keep that in mind. So think about also looking at, like, are you blatantly selling in your posts, or are you putting subtle hints into your messages all the time? So I've done multiple posts where, like, about Body Beast, let's say, for example, right? So people know that they just know more about Body Beast from what I've shared with them. And sometimes I'll maybe put a link to my Body Beast page at the bottom of my post. I won't even really sometimes even say anything other than just give the link, right? So some people may just, if they read the post, they get to the bottom and then they're going to click through and just check out even more about the program. But I'm not saying everybody should get this program because it's the best in it, and everybody wants to, like, put on muscle, right? So just buy this, call me, message me, or whatever. I want to talk to you about it, because that's kind of pushy, I find. So I find maybe I'm not, but I want to know kind of like your perspective, Anna. Like, I think that I'm kind of 95% sharing and recommending versus selling. I don't know if it comes across that way, but that's what I feel I do. Do you think so?
Well, your success club points are the result of you sharing. So if you weren't sharing with, being genuine, then you wouldn't have those success club points, because people don't want to buy when it's icky. So yeah, absolutely. And you know what I was going to say, you're recommending, but what you're really doing is you're being proof that the product works. So you're making your job much easier, because you don't have to put this out there and say, hey, buy this, when you're just like, look at what I'm doing. Right. Just as if you were using, this staple. Hey, I'm using this staple. This is a pretty cool staple. They're like, where did you get the staple? It's the same thing. You're using it and you really are enjoying it. So it makes your job really super easy. Imagine, though, if you were not doing that, it makes it harder. So you said it right on. You can share your link there because you're actually doing it. When you're sharing a link there and it's not you doing it, then it comes across salesy, right? So yeah, absolutely. You're 100% correct. You are in alignment with, what you're doing is being genuine and not salesy.
And I find that I'm also trying to share only things that I've experienced personally, out, like, on social media at least, unless it's kind of a transformation share or whatever, right? Somebody else, then for sure I share it, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm the expert on P90 because I haven't done it, but Sean's doing it now, so I'll kind of share a little bit of what he said about it or whatever, right? Or even if people like other coaches have talked about it and they said things, I'll say, my friend whatever is really enjoying this program, and or I did Power 90, which relates to P90, right? So I'll kind of just say that. I won't say I've done P90, but said this is a program like one I've done before and had amazing success, and it started my journey. So it's all just about recommending and sharing. So that was
your
good.
Point is, be you, though. Just be you in that. You can't recommend something with all honesty unless you either are doing it or know somebody who has done it. You don't necessarily even need to know them, but you need to be educated enough to know that, hey, my friend or this person on a team or this person I just came across on Team Beachbody had this experience. But if you don't look that up or understand that or know them, then speaking about it is worthless. Right.
So my next point was, which kind of Anna had already talked about, Does what you're doing on social media, what you're sharing on social media, sound like fun? If it doesn't sound like fun, nobody wants to do it. So you have to make it sound fun. It is fun, but you can't make it sound like basically like salesy or whatever. Like, it has to sound like you're having fun doing it. Share when you're doing your workout, when you're starting your workout, when you're finishing your workout, what you thought of the workout, even what you didn't like, but what you struggled with. But say why you love struggling with your workout in that sense, so that people can relate to that. Like, people relate to being sore after workout, and many people love that soreness feeling. So just saying, "Oh, I'm so sore from that workout," is not really good. You would say, "I'm super sore from that workout because it was such a great workout, and I love the feeling of my muscles sore because I know I've had a great workout." Things like that. So make it sound fun, not laborious or generic.
Well, I think it also goes along with being you as well, because if you were scripted, then that doesn't sound fun because it doesn't put you in the middle of it. When you're being honest about the fact that you're sore, or your legs hurt, or it's leg day and I'm terrified of it because I don't enjoy it, but I like the way my legs look later. I love the fact that you say you're having fun with it, but I think it's more of just being open and honest and sharing why you're sharing it. Like, there's a purpose of you sharing it, but I'm sharing it because I want to motivate people, not just because.
Yeah.
So.
Agree.
Okay.
The other thing is, do you come across as approachable, trusting, fun, like I said, excited, knowledgeable, helpful? Those are all key traits that I'm sure any of you guys, if you weren't coaching, would be drawn to, right? So you kind of need to you need to position yourself and brand yourself as somebody who is all those qualities, because it makes your job so much easier. Seriously.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, do you really want to have to work really hard forever, inviting people one-on-one and messages because they're not coming to you or messaging you looking for advice when they're having a hard time working out? They're just not even doing Beachbody work. It's just having a hard time working out, looking for you on nutrition or whatever because they know you've run a free nutrition group in the past. Maybe they were in it. Maybe they just know you ran it. They're looking to you for advice or whatever, right? These people that come to you for advice and want to just chat about fitness and health, those are your key people to recommend a program to, because at the right time, right? So without coming across as salesy, but then you don't have to go to random people all the time and always work really hard to ask 100 people to be in your challenge group and you get 10 back saying yes. So it's a mix always, but that's kind of my key social media insights. Market yourself to your target market properly, and you need to really know who your target market is to do that. So make sure you also know who is your target market and that your posts actually talk to that target market. So yeah, product of the product is my next kind of point. You kind of talked about that, but you need to brand yourself as somebody who's doing the programs the way they're meant to be done and using the supplements the way they're meant to be consumed. If you haven't done a program from start to finish, whatever program it may be, and you haven't gotten results that you expect your challengers to see, then your prospects are probably not going to want to do what you're recommending or sharing because you're not really proof that the products work. So lots of people kind of do hybrids. I know Anna's doing a hybrid, I think, right now, right? But she's had results doing full programs in the past, right? So you need that at least once, go through a full program
You only have a first once. You only have a first round once. That's why I love that. A coach years ago said that. You only have a first round once.
Right. So, and sometimes people never even have that, but they still expect challengers to be doing that. So you really need to do that. So if you're not doing that, I highly, highly recommend it and share the entire journey. Because what happens is after you've done that, you now can make a transformation video. Even if it's the first video you may make another one after you've done 2 rounds or 3 rounds or whatever, right? But those transformation videos, as scary as they may seem, really help.
Make your job easy again.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get into that part later because I talked about that. Let's see here. Right, so you need to share your results through the program that you're doing, pictures. A lot of people are kind of scared of putting pictures of themselves on the internet. I don't know. I guess it's just the way you are, but even when I wasn't a coach, I was putting my pictures online and sharing before and afters. I guess that's why Kelly figured out the coach. I don't know. But if you're not doing that, then you're probably either not getting the results you should be getting, or you're scared of putting them online. So it's either one of those two. So if you're not getting the results you should be getting, you're probably not following nutrition the way you should be and actually focusing on it as much as you're expecting your challengers to focus on it. So that's key. Or you're skipping workouts or whatnot. Or you may have issues losing weight or whatever your goal is, but it's really important to share on social media your progress before and afters. Just know that. So if you haven't done a program, do a program. And don't be scared of putting yourself out there, because you know what? You have to. It's the way it is. It gets real when you share your own progress. People relate to you way more. Then you kind of go from somebody just talking about programs to somebody who actually physically got something tangible out of the programs. And then they trust you. These people trust your knowledge and your recommendation now. So trust is kind of the pillar stone of this business. So if you're not always building trust over and over again and building up and up and up, then it's going to be a really uphill battle. So yeah, make sure that you're eating clean, obviously, but lots of people don't want to eat clean, but you kind of need to eat clean. So just do it just for that. Even if it's just for that first transformation, you really need to do that. And just know that nobody is perfect. Even in my first round, I think I probably missed 6 workouts total, but you still get great results. So don't worry about being exactly perfect, but you have to try your best. So next thing is selling challenge packs. So 90% of my sales are from challenge packs. I don't know how I did it. No, I'm just kidding. I probably did. So I think people put way too big of a focus on selling challenge packs when they invite, instead of recommending options. So when you're selling challenge packs, like that is my primary goal, obviously, but I don't make it my potential challenge. I don't let my potential challengers think that that's my primary goal. So what I do, I recommend some programs because they'll come to me and ask me for advice on the program. So I'll recommend a couple of options, send them videos. So once they say, oh, I really like P90, or let's say 21 Day Fix, actually, because that's what I have my script on. So if they say, I really like 21 Day Fix, like, do I just order online? They'll ask that question. I'll say, well, I'll get to the actual script, but I'll give them 2 options, usually 2 options. And the options, when I present them, are 100% transparent, because I find that builds trust. I'll show them the prices of each option. I'll show them the value of the challenge pack versus just getting the workout program, because I find that builds a deal kind of mentality in people. I take the selling mentality out and just pretend like I'm recommending it to a friend. So if a friend was to come to you and say, your best friend, let's say, came to you and said, I want to do P90X. Well, you're probably going to say, well, I don't know if you should do P90X. Probably you should start with something different. What about P90? Everybody's doing it because it's a really good introduction to fitness, right? So they look at the P90 video, they say, great. Do I just order it from your site? And you're like, well, and then you give them options. So here's an example script. And I'll share probably the text version of this, and I have shared it once before. After this call is done. Let's see here. So this is how it goes. I'll say, so based on that program, 21-day fix, here's 2 options you could choose from. Option 1 is the challenge pack. So the challenge pack is the best bang for the buck because it gives you everything you need, all the tools to succeed right from the start. This is what it comes with. The 21-day fix containers and workout program DVDs. You get 2 DVDs with 6 workouts plus the bonus DVD with an extra workout for getting it through a Team Beachbody coach like me, which makes sure that they don't get it from Beachbody directly. There's a complete nutrition guide included with the program as well, and the calendar to tell you exactly which workout to do each day. The next point would be your first 30 days of Shakeology meal replacements. And in brackets, I'll say, make sure to check out my Shakeology story here. And I give a link to my blog posting about Shakeology that I've written. Or it can be whatever you need to write it down somewhere, your story, and share it, even if it's a Facebook note or whatever. You have to have a link or explain it in the body of the email or in the body of the message, but that can get a bit long, or at least discuss it kind of earlier on in the conversation. The next point would be you get access to my team's daily easy meal plans and nutrition guides. I give a full 10 weeks, including shopping lists via email. Online Beachbody meal planner with additional recipes and shopping lists, which is the club membership. Access to my exclusive online Facebook Fit community and one-on-one support from me as your coach. Smiley face. 30-day bottom of the bag guarantee for Shakeology and 21-day fix. And discount $7 shipping. That's for Canada, $7 shipping. Otherwise, it'd be $2 shipping for the States. And then I'll say the challenge pack is $176 Canadian. Since Shakeology is normally $142.95 on its own, it's basically getting you 21-day fix, the meal plans, and everything else above for only $33 more. Then there's option 2, DVDs and the container system only, or just DVDs if it's just a workout. This option is for just the 21-day fix program, DVDs, container system, nutrition guide, and calendar, which is $65.85, but has regular shipping, which is $19.95 to Canada. So that's a pretty expensive shipping option. Then I say, it's up to you to decide which is best for you. My job is to help guide you and answer your questions before moving forward. So that's my typical kind of script, which I've tweaked over the months for challenge packs. So the key things in the script are, I've broken it down to 2 options. People love options, challenge pack versus program only. In the beginning, when I was a first coach, I would always just only kind of mention the challenge pack. Lots of people only mention the challenge pack. And what happens is, if people just think it's too expensive right off the bat, they may not message you anymore, and they may just go buy it from Beachbody or somewhere else or online because they know that a different option exists, and you haven't presented it, so they just don't even know that you're offering that option. So that's an important thing to do.
That's a good point. I like that.
I explain exactly what comes with the price. The price I find It's transparent, again, trust. Linking to my Shakeology story, lets them read up on my own personal feelings about Shakeology. It also has some kind of breaking down the barriers on price, whatnot. So I link to that, and that it answers a lot of questions right off the bat. And people sometimes come back with more questions, but I feel like it helps clear up initial questions. So including the custom team victory meal plans is key, I find, because with the challenge pack, because people always want meal plans. Yes, the programs come with meal plans. They're not always as, they're kind of loose in general, meal plans, I find. They're not eat this meal this day, which some people need. So it's an option. And you can pay like probably $50 for meal planning online or more. I don't know. It's a pretty good value to make sure you're adding into your challenge packs if you aren't right now. And those are I think they're on the Team Victory training site.
They are, and they're also in the challenge group box.
Right. So I'll usually just after they get a challenge pack, I put them all in Evernote. So I'll put each one in an Evernote, and I'll put a master Evernote with links to all 10, and then I'll email them the link to the master one, and then they can go through each week as they progress. The other key thing is I explain the regular price for Shakeology, and then how much they're getting everything else for in the challenge pack to show value. So I'm being transparent on the price of Shakeology, so it's not a shock. I did mention that they're getting the first 30 days of Shakeology. They know the price of Shakeology now, and they see the value that the challenge pack brings because they're getting the program and the meal plans and everything else for $33 more or $10 more, whatever it is for the challenge pack. Adding in the 30-day bottom of the bag guarantee is key to remove risk. People like to know they have an opt-out, let's say, if it doesn't work out. I've had I think one person return. I don't even think I've had anybody return a challenge pack. No, I don't think I've had anybody return a challenge pack yet, but just putting that in there just kind of deflates risk. So it's important. I present myself as the resource for any further questions before moving forward, because you want to make sure that they know they can ask more questions, because usually people have more questions. At least I find that they do. So. And then I usually just save that script kind of into my phone's notes so that I can easily copy and paste and then customize and tweak for the person I'm talking to, or add in their names or whatnot, right? So I usually have I have one I think going for P90, 21-day fix, PIO, kind of the programs that I push personally. So it's easy just to grab it. You don't have to write it from scratch every single time. And it's kind of consistent in the message. Don't just wing it. If you wing it, you're probably going to forget something and not say it the right way. So, and I do usually follow the five-step invite or five-step process.
Yep.
Unless they come to me directly, which happens pretty often. And I'll get into that in my next 3 points, which are the last 3 points. So I'm going to be honest on these 3 points, because honesty and getting real is
the topic.
Yeah. I really don't do one-on-one personal invites coldly, ever. I hate it. I know probably everybody there listening hates doing it. I'll just chat with people, start a conversation with people on Facebook or whatever. They'll say something funny on my picture and I'll just send them a message or whatever. Just get into conversation. Or people, I've done over the months of being a Beachbody coach, I've kind of made sure that all of my systems like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, my blog, so kind of my Facebook Lite page, those all funnel and have links and go right to me, either on my email or my Facebook. So people all the time, like I have like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 a month, I don't know. They'll just come to me saying that they're inspired by what they've seen, which is either my YouTube video or my invite on Instagram or whatever. And they'll say, you sound, I have this, I can relate to what you've done. I want to get the same results you've gotten. My body shape is the same type, whatever, right? If you don't share your body type and have pictures of your body type, people can't relate to your body type. Or they'll say, you sound really positive, motivating, fun, whatever. So that's what I try to present. So I'm glad that they say that in a message to me. But by them messaging me, asking for help, even if they already bought the program or whatever, it just opens up so many doors and so many conversations right off the bat that are so much easier than having to always go and find somebody to invite your challenge group. So I don't coldly invite. If you're always coldly inviting, saying, yeah, can you join my challenge group? Do you want to join my challenge group? Then I don't know. I'm not, maybe Anna could touch on that, but I just find that
actually, yeah, I can touch on that. I think I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I was just having a conversation with somebody in the last week regarding the same exact topic. When we started using the Power of 3, I noticed that in my invite column, those are the ones that are, that invite column is typically the one that's empty. And the only time that I would have somebody in that invite column is during a message that is just a random message that it happened to come up. Then my name goes in the invite column. And then I reflected, well, why is that the case? Has that always been the case for me? And it's good for you to know that that's how I ran my business for the last 5 years. I could send messages all day long, just checking in on you. How you doing? Not, do you want to be a part of my challenge group? And being a product of the product, they know that you care, because you're just sending them a message saying, hey, how's it going? Or I noticed that you whatever, commented, I haven't heard from you in a long time. And then you being a product of the product, and they start to come to you. So I think that sometimes we put inviting in a box that sounds just like, hey, send out this, you want to be a part of my challenge. But I think that by you doing all of the above, you are technically inviting without you really knowing that you're inviting. Right? Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's 100% fine to do a cold invite to a free challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Because how hard is it to invite somebody to do something for free, right? It's
mm-hmm.
super easy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe where you can do your cold invites,
mm-hmm.
For sure. But cold invites for challenge groups, I've done them in the earlier part, but just to get started, but they're not my favorite. And I recommend just talking to people and just seeing how they're doing, catching up with people first.
And I agree with you 100%.
The second thing is, somebody's gonna kill me over this. I'm not someone that tracks well at all. I seem like I do, because I love.
Because you're an emerald. You're an emerald personality.
Yeah. So that Power of 3 that I made in color version. I have honestly only used the Power of 3 once, and nobody wants to hear that, but that's the truth. I only did it once because I had to show Kelly my Power of 3, so I did it. But I just find that with my personality type, actually physically tracking on that kind of a form makes things not fun or cumbersome to me. So if I'm not having fun in this business, then I detach and I withdraw. And that to me is not good. I need to keep having fun and enjoying what I'm doing. So yeah, so I'm not a really good tracker. I've tried so many different tracking ways, but I know I need to work. You
want to hear my 2 cents on that?
Yeah.
Okay. For years, that was me. You could see, and there are plenty of videos I've done where it's like, I can actually show you. I've have old tracking this way, and a notebook over here, and a notebook over here, and a notebook over here. But I'm speaking to you from the future. Not that you have to be perfect tracker, because I have never been a perfect tracker. But if you write it somewhere, then 2 years from now, when you have 5,000 friends, and you want to kind of go back to those friends where you're focusing on customer service, that's actually going to be my focus this week. Focusing on customer service that you may have lost, if you didn't have them written down somewhere, then you're going to kick yourself in the butt. But at this, so yeah, I'm like you, I'm doing this part-time. I don't have the time. Every time I write it down, I forget it. Or every time I don't have the time to do it in my computer. Or I don't, so that, I mean, I'm all over the place. But at the same time, nowadays, I'm like pulling out this stuff that was 3 years ago. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this person. Oh yeah, I remember this customer of mine. And being able to go back to that. So, you know, not being a perfect tracker and you're always using the same system. And Power 3 made things really easy because it made things, it's almost like a to-do list. But putting it somewhere so that you find it at some point 3 years from now, you will thank yourself. But at the same time, you're right. You don't have to be 100% perfect to be successful.
Right.
That's my 2 cents.
Good 2 cents. That was 5 cents. That was good. Because you know what? People need to hear that you, when you work part-time, weren't the best tracker. And I like
absolutely.
Like you only have so much time to do this part-time. So and when you have to just spend all your time writing down what you exactly said to somebody or who you talked to.
Run out of time.
You're just running out of time, and then you're just like, well, it just feels like all I'm doing is tracking. And
yeah.
I just want to inspire people and help people and whatever, right? So I need to come up with a good system, and I know I need to track. So that's one of my things I need to work on. But just know you don't have to be successful by tracking. I keep a lot of it in my head. I know I lose a lot of it in my head, but
you will.
If you can't keep it in your head,
5 years from now,
yeah. And if you can't keep it in your head, you definitely have to track. You have to have some tracking mechanism, right? So, and it's also taken me a while to get to the point where I'm at now because of the different funnels that are coming at me now from my other, I guess, this in-stream that I've created, right? Mm-hmm. So it takes a while to get that going. Mm-hmm. And you have to think about connecting everything. Like how can I connect this back to Facebook? Or how can I connect it to my email, my coaching email, whatever you want to use for email versus Facebook. Because not everybody has Facebook. So you have to keep thinking about that because once you get to that point, like I've said before, it does become a bit easier. And I've had a lot of people join my challenge groups or even just my fitness only group that I run just from messaging me out of the blue. Mm-hmm. So
patience.
Yeah. But it's always thinking about
patience with a purpose.
Right. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, everything I wanted to say.
Okay. Love it. You did awesome. I took notes. See, here's another tracker. You should see my desk. I've got like 5,000 different pads, but this one is yours today. So I did take notes because I wanted to make sure that I was focused and paying attention to what you had because obviously I value your information because otherwise I wouldn't have asked you to be on the call. So I have a couple questions for you that I'm sure that others have, and we have about 9 minutes left.
Okay.
The script that you gave, like your little whatever you have in your note on your phone, would you mind sharing that in the team page? Put it on an Evernote doc.
Yeah.
And a link, and then I can grab the Evernote doc and put it in in the challenge group box. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So that way you don't have to retype. Just I'm sure that you have a copy in your Evernote, or you can email your note to your Evernote.
It's in my team call Evernote doc I have right now that I was looking at. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you show notes, if you could share that, then I can take it and add it to our training because what you said is dead on. And I can tell you from experience that when I've gotten lazy in sharing the value of what people get, that is when I do not close. That is when I find that others go, like you made a great point. When I find others go and buy the single pack is when I realize and look back at the conversation that I didn't create that value. And yes, you're right. A meal plan can cost you $50 because I came across one today when I was scrolling through Instagram from a couple girls that are Beachbody coaches that I love to follow. And they had a link and I followed it and it was $50. So using that as value, because it absolutely is key. And you're probably dead on to the fact that 90% of the people on this team don't, because I've been guilty to I've been fast, quick, and sent it off and not have created that value. So I think that taking the time to do that may be the difference between a challenge pack sale and someone buying on Beachbody. So I'm glad that you made that point. That was not a question. That was actually a statement. Let's see. Okay. And in the beginning, you were talking about not signing up discount coaches. I wanted to ask you, because other people will probably ask you the same thing, what would you consider the difference between someone that would sign up as a non-discount coach and someone that would sign up as a discount coach? Because you're obviously looking at those people that you invited today to your Coach at a Glance group or sneak peek group or whatever. You obviously found value in what their potential is, and that's why you invited them. So what would you say a few of those qualities are? Because I'm sure that those people that are looking to sign up coaches but are struggling with that and understand the value of signing up coaches that want to do the business, what would you say are some of the traits that you look for, and those are the people that you invited?
There are people that participated in the challenge group who actually would comment. Like in my challenge group, I use a thing called a Happy Tracker, which I think I borrowed from Trina Gray. Hydration, activity, plate, and then planning, and then you. So kind of they share something about each of those every day. So a couple people that I invited were the ones that were sharing the most in there, because they're the most committed and they're the ones that get the challenge group so far. Or it's people that are really strong on social media who just share positive things, or are into health and fitness stuff on their social media, because if they're willingly sharing that on their own, they're, to me, halfway foot in the door for coaching. And people also that have been longtime Shakeology customers of mine, understand Shakeology, they like Shakeology, and they could just be discount coaches, but I see potential in them. Like, that was kind of a starting point, is who's been on Shakeology for a long time and actually understands the value. So
I think that's helpful.
Or who's also a stay-at-home mom, or like there's one girl who I guess decided not to go back to her hairstyling. She just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom who has been on Shakeology for a long time. So I presented it to her as a, I know you're not going back to work. I just presented it in that way. So
I think it's very helpful, because I think that using examples is just like you're saying, people need to relate to you as a challenger or someone as an inspiration. It's the same thing for the coaches that you're talking to, relating to you, in examples. So that was very helpful, because I know that that's what people want to hear. They want to know who do I look for? I don't know. Who do I look for? And so I think that that's really helpful. I also had one more. Oh, and this goes along with being real. So we say a lot of the times it sounds like everything is what did you say the other day, roses and daisies or whatever, that things are I can't remember, but it was like everything is cool and nothing goes wrong. And my 2 cents on that, because I think that this is really important, because this has come up a lot because people seem to be in that funk, right? Including myself. And I've shared this in our team call last week about my run free lead, and it's been incredibly stressful, and that's real. I also feel and this is probably why it comes across as everything is roses, and so this is me being real with everybody. The reason why it comes across as roses is because everybody in the business is at a different point in the business. So as a leader who likes to share things, I like to share the possibilities. This is amazing. This person hit 5,000 Success Club points. This person hit 15-star diamond, because it shows the possibility based on somebody may be in a funk and doesn't want to hear that. But there could be 5 other people that need to hear that. So it is important, though, to separate yourself from that, knowing that that's not normal, right? It's being shared because it's a possibility, not that it's normal. And I think that that's exactly what you hit on, is that people feel that it's normal and that they're doing it wrong, right? And that's not the case. But what's that?
They at least need to take a step back and look at what they're doing. But
right. But then we can flip it. So let's just say we spend a week and we say, my volume is crap. I didn't sell any challenge packs. This person was in Success Club and is not. I mean, that's being real. But if we shared all of that, that doesn't give any motivation to anybody either, right? So there's got to be this.
You have to have a little mini goal to hit.
Right, and I find it very, very valid that you brought that up, as far as people feeling that, it's not a struggle, and only I have the struggle. Not I myself, but the person looking at what's being shared and not being worthy because they haven't made one sale yet. But that's their reality. It's not necessarily that that's wrong, because there are 50 other people in the group that are in the same boat. So I'm coming to you saying that it's important to know that people should not compare, but also know that, I'm just as real. I have struggles. This weekend, obviously, I was away, and I don't know what's going on in my business. I have no idea. I don't know. I haven't looked at my back office for 4 days. Is that good? No. But that's the truth, and that's what life is all about. But I'm not going to necessarily share that on the team page, because that's not what I do. I like to inspire people of knowing what's possible. So, message of the day is be real, right? And know that your journey is your journey, just like your fitness journey. It's going to take somebody a shorter period of time to get their results than another person who takes, a longer period of time, because it's their journey, it's their life, whatever's going on in their life. So as long as we recognize that it is not all daisies and roses, but there is the possibility. Butterflies. Right, that's what it was, butterflies. And I do know that those people that are in the top 10, not all of them, but most of them work. And if you look at their life, they have the time, most of them. So that's not most of our reality.
It's not realistic for the part-time coaches to think
that
they are at that level. They're not.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
That's your job, and then you can maybe do that.
Yeah. Unless you know that person's story, you cannot think that is your story.
Yeah.
Right?
One thing that Coach Jimmy Nelson said at Summit, which was really important. and I related to that, was it took him a long time of walking, I think he said, or jogging along the way to get to where he was successful in his business, versus some people run there within a year. But those people both got to the same point. It just depends on how you get there and how long you have to stick around in the business without giving up. Because if you give up, then you're never going to get there.
Right.
But and I think maybe it was Autumn. I think Autumn at the thing, she said, if you keep taking steps towards the finish line on a marathon, it could take you 5 days or whatever. You're going to get over that finish line one day. It doesn't matter when, really, but you're going to do it no matter what, if you keep taking a step forward every single day.
And that's dead on, because Jimmy and I have run a very similar race, and that's exactly how I ran the race. I did compare myself, and then it was once I realized that I cannot compare myself to someone else, I told myself, I am going to be successful in this business no matter what. I have no idea how long it's going to take me. Well, I'm one of the rarities that takes 4 years to hit elite. Most people hit it in the first year, keep hitting it, don't hit it. You know, some of those race really fast, hit it, and then you don't hear from them. I'm exactly what you just said. Jimmy and I have a very similar story. It's just slow and steady wins the race. I'm going to hit the finish line whenever I do. But it's going to happen, and I'm not going to give up. And I think that that's probably 90% of the successful coaches in this business. It's that 10% is in the spotlight, and that's all we see. So we have to take a reality check to ourselves. Yeah. What race do we want to race? Right? Do you agree?
And it doesn't matter if you've taken 6 months and done really crappy.
Right.
If after 6 months you decide to finally do what you're supposed to do, well, you're still going to get to the finish line just 6 months later.
Right. Totally. Dead on. I love it. Okay. So we're at an hour now. Do you have anything left that you want to say that you missed, or that you were inspired to say now? Or?
I don't think so. I don't know. It was fun.
Okay. One thing I want to touch on, because I talked to you about this privately. It was about checking in on the team pages and be realistic with your time. Can you just really quickly touch on that, because that's everybody's reality? And what is okay? What is acceptable? What should people do when they're incredibly busy, like you?
Sometimes you just need to not check in on the team pages and focus on what you need to do if you're really busy. Because yes, there's tons of tips in the team pages, and people are sharing all the time. And it's sometimes inspirational, but you also sometimes get sucked in to not actually driving your business. So if I ever get overwhelmed with all the information out there, or maybe comparing myself with other people, I'll sometimes withdraw for a week or so from the group and just do my own thing and focus on what I think, like sharing positively, or just focusing on my challenge group, let's say, because it can become exhausting to be always in those groups, and always is like, I think I'm in maybe 4 team groups. So there's just tons of information. Lots of it's good, and you can always go back and look for it, look at it later. But you can't keep trying to do new things all the time. You have to get good at some, I guess, just the best practices. You got to get good at those. So
I love it. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. And that's realistic. And I agree with that. I mean, I love when people show up every day. I have to show up every day. Sometimes I don't, but I'll be upfront and say I won't be in the team page today, because I'm home now. I'm doing this full time. But when I wasn't, I would check in, but I wouldn't get sucked in, because it can very well suck you in. And then you look back at your day, and did you do anything that's going to drive you closer to your business, except for check out all the amazing tips that didn't do anything for your business? So I appreciate that you shared that, and that's real, because what happens is you step away, you focus on what you need to focus on, take care of that stuff, and then you come back and you're like, hey guys, I'm here because I got 5 minutes, let me help you, or this is what I'm doing, this is what's working for me, because you are showing up. And that makes, okay, and then you have something to share because you kind of went off and did something and focused on it, so you actually have something to share, which is great.
And you're re-energized and
you're re-energized, exactly.
Confident again in your business or whatever, right? Or you've had fun leading your challenge group again, and you get inspired by what your challengers are saying and thanking you or whatever, right? So you need to hear that to kind of get inspired again.
Yeah.
To return to the page and want to learn more, because if you, you'll just get bogged down.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see. Everybody who doesn't have their little faces up, get your faces up. We're going to take a screenshot. There's everybody. All right. Is that everybody but a phone? Okay. Okay. Where's my snack? All right, you guys ready?
Should I do like a body beast thing like this?
Do whatever you want. We always make fun. I love it. I saw you, Carrie. Okay, ready? Hold on. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, go. Perfect. All right, guys. Have a good night. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.